Not gonna lie, after seeing Mogrok's rendition on every character's best move, I was prepared to drop the remainder of this series altogether since it would come off as redundant, but after he insisted that I finish what I started, I was like, why the hell not? For the sake of continuity, I'll see the rest of my own version through, so for today, I'll be going into part 2 of every character's best move in Smash Bros. Last episode we went through Mario to Pit, and in this one we'll cover Suit Samus, the 29th fighter, all the way through Palutena, the 54th fighter. Also, in the spirit of mutual promotion, I highly suggest you guys check out Mogrok's video after this one. He and I share a pretty similar content format in terms of discussion and analysis, but we offer our own perspective on every subject. Chances are, if you've seen my videos, you've also seen his. Now before we get started, I should point out that part 2 was made after I've seen the entirety of Mogrok's video, and while the reasoning behind his choices have influenced me to reassess my own, there is a fundamental difference in how I approach this series and how he does, since I'm taking into consideration how the character's move behaves within the context of their own kit and how well it performs when extracted out of it, whereas he primarily focuses on the scope of applications within the original owners in greater detail. So I think that's where we'll differ in opinion. For example, when talking about Ness, I went with back throw as his best option while he chose PSI Magnet. I did have PSI Magnet on my list for the best move, mostly for the sheer utility provided in not only movement but for offensive and defensive purposes. However, I felt like its use cases were greatly enhanced by Ness's unique double jump, something few other characters have. It would still retain the bulk of its usefulness on every character, but not nearly as formidable of an ability, whereas back throw would single-handedly turn otherwise balanced yet strong characters into instant top tiers, if not top 5, since forfeiting your existing back throw may not have the same opportunity cost trade-off as discarding your down special. Anyways, let's not waste any more time and get started. ZSS has a slew of excellent moves in her repertoire that so many fighters would kill to have. Attacks like down smash, side B, up air, or even jab are fantastic choices, but without a doubt, her down special flip jump reigns supreme. It has fantastic verticality paired with frame 3 intangibility, effectively mitigating 90% of her disadvantage right out the gate, on top of being what is essentially a double jump. None of this comes at the cost of its offensive applications either, having not only one of the longest berry timers in the game, and this is after it got nerfed, but having one of the strongest meteor smashes in the game too. Going even a step further, I'd argue flip jump has to be the best down special in the game, as virtually all characters would be able to combo into it or remedy their disadvantage with this move. On the subject of down specials, Wario's Waft is right up there as well. It takes a while to get going if you want the full version, but what you have is essentially Little Max KO Punch that retains its charge between stocks and has an enormous hitbox, incredible damage and knockback, and can even be used as a recovery tool if on the rare occasion Wario needs to use it as such. Waft is mostly balanced by the fact that it's on a character who lacks the conventional 1-2 setups that almost guarantee landing the full version. If Wario had a scooping down tilt like Incineroar or Mithras down tilt, then that would just be unfair. As mentioned countless times in past videos, Ultimate is a game heavily predicated on advantage state. Consequently, that means the viability of a character is affected by how well they can manage their disadvantage, and hardly anyone can do that better than Snake. Along with serving as a traditional projectile, Snake's grenades instantiate on frame 1, meaning any combo that's not explicitly true can be exploded out of at the press of a button. This does result in him taking damage in the process as well, but it's almost always the lesser evil as opposed to taking dozens of % from his opponent in a combo. The existence of Grenade forces every character to fight Snake in a manner unlike any other opponent. Ike's best move is undoubtedly his neutral air. While it didn't receive a knockback scaling nerf that caused it to lose its combo potential at higher %, its applications have stayed intact. It's a long range, all-covering disjointed hitbox that sends its opponents directly upwards, giving him some of the easiest 1-2 neutral interactions in the game. Prior to its nerf, it was considered one of the best nairs in the category, famous for the number of characters with extremely good ones. For Squirrel's best move, I'm gonna go with forward tilt. Despite having very stubby range, it has a frame 5 startup and it's -6 on shield, making it virtually unpunishable, something you don't see very often for grounded moves. With how low its knockback is, it can set up into basic follow-ups, from grabs to rising aerials. Admittedly, how well you can take advantage of his forward tilt depends on if you have similar or better frame data than him, but out of all the moves I can think of on Squirtle, I settled on F-tilt. Ivysaur's best move would have to go to his monstrous up air, one of the best in the game. It has a massive hitbox directly above him with no sour spot and even has decent horizontal reach, extremely powerful to boot, and with a vertical launch angle it can kill at even double-digit % while comboing into itself via platform extensions at lower %. The only thing keeping this move in check is that it's active for merely 2 frames, but that doesn't diminish any of its pros in the slightest. I was torn between a lot of Charizard's moves because true to his archetype he has a ton of really strong individual attacks. but in the end, I'm going with his amazing up smash, one of the fastest in the game, only surpassed by Diddy Kong's frame 5. The wings are intangible throughout the attack, making it very good as an anti-air, and the fast startup in front of him makes it arguably one of the best status shield up smashes in the game in terms of speed and power. I did consider his back air, but I think what makes it just barely under up smash is how unsafe on shield it is, even when perfectly spaced. Besides, a lot of characters already have strong back airs, not many of them have strong and or fast up smashes. Diddy Kong's best move is, with no caveat, his banana. When it successfully hits an opponent, it allows for a guaranteed follow-up from basically every attack in the game, and is once again only really balanced by the fact that it's on a character with subpar KO power, and even then he makes it look broken. A huge aspect of the Diddy Kong matchup is how well you can use his banana against him. My only gripe about this attack is that banana is transcendent, when it really shouldn't be. The fact that a banana can beat a sword sounds kind of, a little unrealistic, but then again it is Smash. Initially, my first take on Lucas's best move was down smash for how it trivializes edge guarding almost completely. But upon reconsideration, I think his forward tilt is his best move. In his own kit, forward tilt isn't used nearly as often as the likes of, say, his Zair or aerials, but despite that, it's a really damn good move in more ways than one. Does a ton of damage when sweet spotted, has a massive hitbox in front of him, is -8 on shield, making it very difficult to punish, especially when spaced correctly, and has a gigantic 2-frame when angled downwards. Some have argued that it may be one of the best forward tilts in the game, and I would agree. I thought about putting Zair as the best move mostly for its recovery, but a large part of why it's broken on Lucas on stage is due to his unique double jump, similarly to Ness. Okay, we all know what Sonic's best move is. Moving on. DDD's best move is definitely his side B Gordo. A lot of players have to downplay or defend it by saying you can reflect it back, but DDD can simply catch it by reactivating side B right before it hits him, or inhale it to throw it right back at even more power. Gordo's unpredictable bouncing arc and persistence makes it incredible at pressuring opponents, especially at the ledge, forcing them to make an immediate decision to either avoid it or attack it regardless of where they are on stage, and that kind of pressure can be heavily abused on other characters as well. Olimar's moveset is tricky because it relies on Pikmin to do just about anything, and the variance between Pikmin can make things a bit confusing. But assuming any move I extract from his kit to put onto someone else allows for Pikmin to accompany it, I'm gonna choose his up smash. It's not all that impressive in terms of range, but it does incredible damage on any Pikmin that isn't white. It's a combo starter that can rack up series %, and is surprisingly safe on shield. Obviously, to make the most of it, you want to use yellow Pikmin, but as long as it's not white, this move is spectacular. Choosing Lucario's best move is a matter of circumstance, as in how much aura is reasonable for us to give him. If we're being generous and assume an aura of like 90%, then Aura Sphere would definitely be his best move for the damage, pressure, and even combo setups it can do with the charge. However, at lower percents, Aura Sphere is debatably the worst of the charge shots. A move that's consistently effective regardless of aura, however, is his neutral air. Its frame data and kill power may seem unremarkable, but what really makes this attack shine is the combo potential it has when landing, and more importantly, how ridiculously safe on shield it is. Even at 0%, this move is -2, meaning it's quite literally unpunishable even by Mr. Game & Watch's up B, the attack that punishes everything. Moreover, it becomes net 0 at full aura, so even if you miss space with it, it's unpunishable. If we assume a weighted average of Lucario's aura, it's around -1 on shield. This move is broken, and it actually does pretty good damage if you land both hits. Great for rising and landing all around thanks to his generous hitboxes, and is a core part of Lucario's early % game plan. Rob was tough to choose. He's a broken character with a lot of broken moves. I thought about neutral air since it's an integral component of his gameplay. I also thought about his laser for its high damage, long range, transcendent priority, and safety on shield. I thought of Robo Burner for being one of the best recovery tools in the game bar none. But I'm gonna be basic and go with down tilt. It's the best down tilt in the game for a reason. Everyone wants this down tilt. It's a shield pressure tool, jab block, poke tool, combo starter, kill setupper, does everything except attack in the air. Disgusting. Toon Link's best move is his bomb. Out of the 3 links, Toon Link's projectiles have the longest lifespan, meaning they stay out on the field the longest. The low knockback on it makes it a guaranteed 1-2 combo into just about every aerial in the game. And because of how long each bomb lasts, Toon Link can easily have 2 out at a time, giving him great zone control on a character who desperately needs it, and it would maintain its effectiveness on other characters too. For Wolf, it was a toss-up between his neutral B, neutral air, and forward air, but I'll choose forward air. It's a great landing and rising option thanks to how fast it is, relatively safe on shield with decent range, and its modest knockback scaling gives it excellent early to mid % combos and setups. The only downside to forward air is that it doesn't kill until very late percents, but forward air is usually reserved for damage racking and combos, whereas back air houses the finishing power in a lot of kits. Granted, you need comparable mobility to Wolf in order to use this attack well, but I felt like forward air slightly edges out over Nair or Neutral B, though the latter two are equally beneficial. Villager's best move is forward air. Long-range projectile that does damage, covers a lot of space, is unpunishable on shields, and is generally really annoying. Not much else to say. I will concede that it's more troublesome when paired with Lloyd Rocket, but it still does the job pretty well by itself. Mega Man was tough. He's a case where every move in his kit matters in regards to letting him function as a character, so I was thinking about his Mega Buster elements as the best one, but in hindsight that only really works on his own controller like him. Not everyone wants it. What they might want is his back air. Despite how unsafe on shield it is one of the best rising aerials in the game. It has fantastic disjointed range, comes out at frame 4, does respectable damage, and has incredible knockback for a move that fast and long lasting. It's a phenomenal attack all around. If it were safe on shield, it might actually just be the best back air in the game. Wii Fit's best move is Header, the cornerstone of their gameplay, and the main reason everyone at Xenosaga hates fighting John numbers. It's a long-range projectile that doubles as a trap tool with all the weird ways it can be thrown around. What really makes this attack annoying is that it briefly stalls them in the air, allowing for recovery and landing mix-ups that make them generally unpredictable to deal with. Yes, you can hit the soccer ball back, but unlike DDD's Gordo, it tends to be inconsistent at hitting Wii Fit directly, so it's a pretty safe move to spam constantly, and many Wii Fit players do. Rosalina and Luma are similar to Ice Climbers in that having both of them or just one of them makes a huge difference in what move is the best. To prevent ambiguity though, I'm going to choose Up Smash and assume both are present. It's a fantastic added shield option with the frame 8 startup that renders her head intangible, as well as having a ton of active frames, all of which are sweet spot hits. It's her most consistent kill option without Luma and one of the strongest up smashes in the game with Luma. Overall, just a really solid added shield and anti-air attack. Can't go wrong with it. My reasoning for choosing up smash is that Luma basically shares the same animation as Rosalina, whereas for their other moves, the mechanics get a bit weird. My best move for Little Mac might surprise a few of you. It's not side B, it's not forward smash either. I chose forward tilt. I consider his forward tilt to be the best forward tilt in the game. It has great range, albeit not disjointed, thanks to leaning forward when punching, comes out at frame 4, and has some of the best kill power out of any forward tilt in the game. Furthermore, the first hit tramples, letting him connect into the second hit even if his opponent clanked with the first one. Normally, forward tilt is supposed to be your token spacing tool. How about a spacing tool that beats other spacing tools and is strong enough to kill Mario at double-digit % at the ledge? People sleep on his out tilt too much. It's insane how broken of a move this is. Greninja's best move has to be his dash attack. At a frame 7 startup, it covers a lot of grounded distance, is one of the safest dash attacks on shield in the game, ambiguously crosses up shield, and can lead into a plethora of follow-ups that many other characters would be able to work with as well. I would argue Greninja's dash attack would be better on other characters than him. Mii Brawler's best attack is obviously neutral air. It's your garden variety sex kick whose knockback angle closely resembles Yoshi's, I would say. Although thanks to lower base knockback, it can combo very well at low to mid %. It's likely the best of its kind, better than Link and Yoshi, although maybe not better than Fox depending on who you ask. Mii Swordfighter's best move is Scale Strike, not as a result of the easy follow-up into up air, not entirely, but for its area control and pressure. It forces the opponent to make a decision immediately, a decision Mii Swordfighter and by extension anyone else in the cast can punish, on top of the easy follow-ups if it does land thanks to its outrageous hit stun. Mii Gunner's forward air is absurd. With the recoil on this attack, it's one of the rare few forward airs that's completely unpunishable on shield at -1. It doesn't do that much damage and has a passable combo game, but take everything that makes Villager's forward air good and annoying and make it even better at the cost of lower range. That's how I see this move. Last one for this episode will be Palutena, and I'm choosing her back air. I had half a mind to go with the neutral air like everyone else, but there's a reason her back air is in contention for the best in the game. It's fast, safe on shield, invincible meaning you can't challenge it unless your name is Kazuya, and has serviceable KO power. Palutena's back air often competes with Cloud and DK's back air for which one is the best. It ultimately comes down to if you want range and greater safety on shield, or faster speed and more combo potential, or faster speed and unchallengeability. I'd argue they're interchangeable, but one thing's for certain, everyone will want Palutena's back air, even those with already good ones. Alrighty, that's it for part 2. Part 3 will come out soon in the near future depending on how well this one does. Once again, be sure to check out Mockrock's feature-length rendition on this topic after this one. It's very well made and I think you'll enjoy it. Also, leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree with any of my choices. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, if you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like and sub to the channel. Consider following me on Twitter at Vars, joining my Discord server, and checking out my first episode on best moves if you haven't yet. But till next time, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon in the next one. Take care.